What do you think of our new theme song, Steve?
Welcome to your morning lick. Can you name that song?
That was the abbreviated version of the opening theme song, which, by the way, is called Sunny Side Up. Did you know that's actually the name of that song, the theme of the show? It's called Sunny Side Up.
Who wrote it?
Not me. I can tell you that
Xavier Cugat.
Yes, Xavier Cugat wrote it.
Cugat, yeah.
And it'll be available on his new album, Boy, I Wish I Was Still Alive. Good morning. It is Thursday, the 8th day of March, 2018. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour. Steve Ferry, news director to our left. Cat in control, Paul and Devin in the green room today. Paul Atwood is directing The Wedding Singer, the Wenatchee High School Music Department's musical, which has opening night tonight. And Devin plays one of the leads in The Wedding Singer.
That's a good movie. I've seen it, the one with Adam Sandler, but I'd love to see this rendition.
This is a, well, you'll just have to stay tuned with my visit with Paul and Devin in the second half of the show to find out all about The Wedding Singer.
I know that Jay Seebeck has actually been out there, and he's actually been watching some of the rehearsals, apparently.
Yeah,
we'll have a little feature on that as well.
Yeah, he's doing a magazine on it, as a matter of fact. And you have it's opening night tonight. You have a lot of chances to check out The Wedding Singer. It's going to be playing for a number of weeks coming up here. I love it to see local talented kids go up on stage and ply their craft. It's really cool.
Young thespians.
Yes, it's going to be a great show. So Paul and Devin will be here in the second half of the show. Steve will be doing the news thing. We had a lot of news to get to. Lots of stuff going on in the Wenatchee Valley. I feel good. It's Thursday. The weekend is almost here. The KPQ Home Expo begins tomorrow. We will be there closing on the baseball season. We got a great looking weather forecast. Spring's going to be busting out all over this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we're not done with winter quite yet. And of course, daylight saving time.
Ah, my favorite time of the year.
My worst time of the year, daylight saving time. That means tomorrow I get to dig out my editorial and my little commentary on daylight saving time.
Dan doesn't like daylight saving time.
I do not like daylight saving time.
I just don't think you'd like the change.
No, I have a problem. The gist of it is, and you'll hear more about this tomorrow, I have a real problem with manipulating time. I just do. There's something about it. I don't know. And it, quite frankly, it screws up my body clock, which
That's the American way. What are you talking about?
Oh my. Let's go around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras. We have a limited amount of cameras to use today because a great deal of these cameras, Steve, because they are in high elevation, are fogged over. We have low clouds
the upper
and fog.
third, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Cougar Ridge camera. Haven't used that one in a while. You can see the Onabashian Bridge. You can see where Sunset Highway meets the highway that goes down across the river and through the woods to Grandmother's house. You can see a great deal of the Stimilk complex.
Didn't get the snow like we thought we might.
Nope, too warm. Too warm for snow. Had a little bit of light rain, but that was about it. So good morning to all of our friends up on Cougar Ridge. You can see Omi Garden.
I can see some green grass down there in the foreground too.
Yeah. Boy, every time I see a big open expanse of green grass, I just say, put a golf course right there.
Especially this time of the year.
Yeah, really. Camera 2, where are we going? Let's find out together. Arundel Rock, of course.
Looking out across the river there.
And again, Arundel Rock, we don't know why it's called Arundel Rock. We don't even know if that is Arundel Rock. It's just that what we call the camera.
I don't even know if it's a rock.
It might not be a rock. It could be a jetty or
some kind of an outcropping.
There you go. Steve, watch your language. This is a family show. Camera 3 takes us to... Oh. That looks like Union Valley.
Yeah?
That looks like Union Valley. Am I correct, Kat? Yep, I'm right. That is Union Valley. So there's some snow up in the Lake Chelan area. We can tell you that much.
Looks like Coeur d'Alene to me. Huh?
Nope. That's not Coeur d'Alene, Steve. That's Lake Chelan, which is full of water, as it is almost all the time now. That's a beautiful thing. Chelan to your left.
The hamlet of Chelan.
Yes. And finally, camera 4 takes us to downtown Wenatchee.
Really quiet this morning along the Ave.
Pretty light commute, not a lot going on. So there you go. That's our cameras from around North. And you can see where the cross camera is or should be, and you can't see it because it's completely fogged over. So can't see anything out of there, or affectionately called cross camera. So we're going to deal with some clouds and some fog and some today, but then, boy, did we have a good looking weekend.
Oh, looks really nice, almost spring-like.
Let's take a look at your forecast from the National Weather Service.
60 degrees Monday?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. So there you go. Clouds, fog today. Very little precipitation in the lower elevations. The upper elevations are going to get some snow. We'll get to that in just a little bit. In fact, there's a winter weather advisory for the mountain passes that kicks in later on today. We'll get to that. So no precipitation today. Slight chance of light rain tonight. No snow for the Wenatchee Valley. Friday, sunshine 52. Saturday, sunshine 52. Just about normal this time of year. It's going to feel warmer because we haven't had temperatures that warm since February. Remember that warm stretch that we had in early February when we were in the 60s? It's kind of coming back a little bit. Just a couple of passing clouds on Sunday. Monday it looks great. Sunshine 60 degrees. The golf course beckons. And then another system works its way in Tuesday and Wednesday. Going to cool us down a little bit, make things a little unsettled. But I have no complaints at all with that forecast.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Looks good. Now, the mountain
Before you know it, we'll be talking to Bonnie Orr.
Yeah, Bonnie will come in on the spring equinox. Is that right? We do equinoxes in spring, and is that right? I can't remember.
That's right.
Bonnie will be in on the first day of spring. I will endeavor to get the lovely Ms. Orr on the show.
It's not a spring solstice.
No, I think it's the equinoxes.
That's right.
Yeah, the solstices
the
are
vernal equinox.
Yeah,
is what they call
again, Steve, language. It's a family show. We don't want to put TVMA in
Can't
the upper
take me
left-hand corner of
anywhere.
the screen. Let's go to the mountain passes, courtesy of the Washington State Department of Transportation. I-90 looking good. No advisories, no restrictions. It is snowing lightly. This is a live shot, by the way, of Snoqualmie Pass. It is snowing lightly. It is not sticking to the roadway. That's going to change.
What's that red vehicle that I'm looking at there?
That does look kind of strange, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an alien, apparently. Well, you got to land sometime. Camera number 2 takes us to Stevens Pass. Traction tires advised. Compact snow and ice on the roadway. Light snow on Stevens, kind of like I-90, not really sticking to the roadway a great deal, but there's enough that they went ahead and posted a traction tire advisory. Anyway, Blewett looks pretty much like Stevens. You'll see quite a bit of pavement, lots of clouds, some fog, snowing, snow not sticking to the roadway, but you'll find some slush in places, so they do have a traction tire advisory on Blewett. So to recap, no advisories, no restrictions on I-90. Stevens and Blewett both have traction tire advisories. All 3 passes are getting snow, and they're going to get quite a bit of snow. Here is your forecast for the mountain passes. The winter weather advisory begins at noon today, goes until 4 in the morning tomorrow. Snow accumulations today, 3 to 5 inches possible in the mountain passes today, and an additional 3 to 7 inches possible tonight. Now, the National Weather Service is expecting heavier snow on Stevens and not so much on I-90. Stevens Pass is going to get 3 to 7 inches of snow tonight. I-90 Snoqualmie more like 2 to 4 inches of snow because of the elevation difference. And then Friday another inch or so, and then they're done with it. So if you have travel plans on the weekend to head over the mountain passes, it looks fine for really most of the day, starting Friday afternoon and going all the way through Monday or Tuesday. No real precipitation in the mountain passes. But again, they are going to get some snow and a winter weather advisory for the Cascades, noon today to 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you'll find some winter driving conditions. 8 minutes after the hour on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're broadcasting live this morning from Studio 55 in downtown Wenatchee. Going to take a 1-minute break, and when we come back, this gentleman will have your news, and there's a lot of it. Buckle your seatbelt. It's an adult portion, and it's 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
High school sports is back this spring on the NCW Life channel. Do you like baseball? We've got you covered with the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats. How about softball? We have you covered there too with fast pitch action right here. How about lacrosse? Yep, got you covered there too with the Wenatchee Valley Thunder. And of course, there's boys soccer. Whatever your interest, we've got you covered on your home for high school spring sports, the NCW Life channel.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
And on this March 8th, Thursday, let's see what's going on around north central Washington here on our morning news. First of all, there's a movement afoot in Leavenworth to scuttle plans for an adventure park on the west end of town. An online petition was started on the website change.org to stop the project, citing parking and traffic concerns. Organizers complain that the theme park would destroy the beauty of the Bavarian themed village and change its course forever. Now, the project is being developed by John Sutherland, who presented his plans to the City Council last week. The park would be located on a 10-acre parcel of newly city-annexed land on Icicle Road that Osprey Rafting currently occupies. Sutherland said he welcomes the community's involvement in the project. He said it'll be thoroughly vetted through the state's Environmental Protection Act process, which he says will include an assessment of traffic impacts.
And again, that involves many studies, including traffic and working through the environmental processes. And there are several periods of public comment that are written into that period. So kind of we look forward to hearing what people think about the project during that, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward.
Now, Sutherland says, if approved, the park, which features Washington State's first alpine coaster ride, could be ready for operation in June. Meanwhile, project opponents have collected over 3,400 signatures on that petition, which will be presented to the City Council for its consideration. Well, the future of new dual roundabouts in East Wenatchee is uncertain now after city officials were recently told by the Washington Department of Transportation that the project's estimated costs are about $1 million over budget. The dual roundabouts were planned at 9th Street and Highway 28, as well as the intersection of 9th at Valley Mall Parkway. At a recent East Wenatchee City Council meeting, Mayor Steve Lacy expressed his frustrations.
Now that I'm hearing that WashDOT has revised their assessment of cost of this overall project by as much as $1 million, I just don't see the feasibility of that contract anymore. Number one. Number two, not to disparage WashDOT, but I'm about to. I am disappointed in the position that WashDOT is taking vis-a-vis the city about their concern. They're now saying, as I understand it, that it really wasn't their desire or preference to have roundabouts down here. And I sat here with many of you over a year ago when they came in and told us the exact opposite.
Now, at that meeting in February, Mayor Lacy went on to urge the City Council to terminate the contract with the Department of Transportation regarding the new roundabouts, so the city won't be on the hook for that extra $1 million cost.
I think it's disingenuous, and I want to be on record as saying that. They apparently have had second thoughts about whether or not these roundabouts are something they want to do in light of the problems they've had with the roundabout at 5th Street that has resulted in some traffic problems and complaints, and has caused them to go back and want to reassess that issue in terms of how that would be affected if they went ahead and built out these roundabouts. I have some ideas of my own, which I won't espouse here tonight, about what they did wrong on 5th Street. But the bottom line is the people that would end up taking it in the shorts on this dam would be the citizens of East Wenatchee if they had to bear another $1 million of this cost. So I'm encouraging you to act to authorize me to initiate termination of this agreement.
So there you have it. That was back on February 27th. The council did vote at that time to terminate the contract at the meeting and opted at that time to proceed with designing a new traffic signal at 9th Street and Valley Mall Parkway. In the meantime, the DOT will conduct an analysis of the proposed roundabouts. In fact, officials apparently told the Wenatchee World that they plan to hire a consultant in the next few weeks to do a study of the two proposed roundabouts, traffic flow on 9th Street and Highway 28, and how it all integrates with the existing 5th Street roundabout. Public input would be sought in late summer or fall. According to the article in the World, he said, with a decision on traffic controls coming late this year or early of next year. Also, for the first time in nearly 12 years, Link Transit is planning to increase the amount of service that the bus system operates. Proposals for service enhancements include additional hours of service Monday through Friday on many routes operating within the Wenatchee, East Wenatchee area. Also changes to those schedules and the span of service on some routes operating between Wenatchee and some of the outlying communities. Some routes will offer additional hours of service, and some will run later into the evening under the proposal. Now, the additional hours equal about 7% increase in service, with some routes being operated until nearly 10 p.m. This later service would improve access to transit for those who work non-traditional work shifts or who wish to use transit for recreational or other purposes. Presently, most bus routes curtail service between 6:30 and 8 p.m. Changes to service will become effective on Monday, July 2nd. Also, apartment building in Wenatchee going forward, and there's an enticement to build more apartments. In fact, Wenatchee City Council set to consider granting an 8-year property tax exemption to the developer of a new apartment complex along Riverside Drive. Widener Apartment Homes is seeking the exemption for the 142-unit complex located just north of Columbia Brewing. The city's Economic Development Director, Steve King, estimates the developer could save more than $150,000 a year. City codes allow for property tax exemptions in areas of the city that are designated as residential target areas. Now, those are the areas where there's a lack of multifamily housing. In order to qualify, though, for the tax break, developer is required to set aside 20% of the housing project for low and moderate income renters. The apartments are slated to open in the fall of 2019. City Council meets tonight, starting at 5:15 at City Hall to take that up. Also, if you live in the Manson area, you probably saw this column of smoke during the noon hour yesterday. In fact, Manson Fire Department, Chelan County Fire District 5, called to a reported structure fire on Wells Avenue in Manson shortly before noon. Responding crews arrived to find a fully involved mobile home. Chelan Fire and Rescue was also on scene as part of an automatic mutual aid response and assisted in knockdown and water supply efforts. One occupant was reported to be at home, but he safely escaped. Structure and one vehicle were a complete loss. Also today, a convicted felon is facing multiple drug charges in connection with an investigation in Moses Lake last week. Suspect, 53-year-old Roberto Tirino, was arrested last Friday as he left a residence along Central Drive in Moses Lake, as detectives with the police department were about to serve a search warrant on that residence. A search of the home revealed an ounce of methamphetamine, half an ounce of heroin, over 100 prescription pills, and detectives seized 2 vehicles and over $3,000 in cash. Tiarina was booked into the Grant County Jail on charges of possession of methamphetamine with intent to deliver and possession of heroin with intent to deliver. Tiarina has 5 previous felony convictions, including drug-related convictions, unlawful possession of a firearm, and rape of a child in the 3rd degree. Meanwhile, Wenatchee High School Theater's spring play, The Wedding Singer, opens tonight at the campus auditorium. We spoke with cast members Mason Atwood and Eloise Sheets and with director Paul Atwood.
When you come here, you're going to enjoy some really good theater from really talented kids.
I had to learn how to play guitar, so that's an experience.
Well, I love Drew Barrymore. I feel like everyone does. Yeah, she's just a waitress and she wants to be married, and I feel like that's hard because obviously I'm only 18, I'm not engaged, I'm not getting married.
It's like the movie, but it doesn't have all the songs that are in the movie. It's all original music, but the music that is in the show sounds like 80s music. So, and I have even some of the band members like, Stan and well, Angela Richmond is the orchestra director, and so they're all of my age or older or younger, and so it's kind of like reliving my youth in a way, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's been a good experience so far. I mean, I really haven't had a show that I didn't like that we've done, and even if it's a show that not necessarily a lot of people know and not a lot of people go to, it's still a lot of fun to just put on a new face every year and try something new.
This is something that they can do for the rest of our life and do. I've always considered this as a service to our community, and bringing fun, laughter, education, and like and art imitates life, vice versa. So, and this one has there's a lot of meaning in this show. I thought, oh, it's a big fluffy fun one, but if you can read a lot in between the lines here, and there's a lot of heart and soul, and it's one of these shows that I think will stand the test of time. It'll just keep on going on, and yeah, it's in the 80s, but it can totally stand true today.
The Wedding Singer. Curtain goes up tonight at the auditorium at Wenatchee High School. Tickets are on sale, and the opening performance kicks off at 7:30. followed by more performances this weekend and next weekend. In fact, Paul and going to be your guest here coming up in just a few minutes.
Paul and Devin Reed, who's also a member of the cast, are patiently waiting, provided that they didn't take off. It's happened before, you know. We go back to the green room to say, you ready to do the show? And they're gone. It's like a little note, you know, something came up. Yeah, Paul Atwood and Devin Reed will be on this show in the second half of the show. Two things we didn't mention, and I need to mention this. Wenatchee Wild swept them, swept the Centennials.
4 in a row.
4 in a row. They move on to the next round of the BCHL playoffs. We'll talk about that when we get to sports, which is coming up in just a couple minutes. And the other thing I needed to mention, and I forgot what it was.
Huh?
Just
sports related?
Nope, it just went right out of my head.
Well, you know, today is International Women's Day.
International Women's Day, yeah.
A lot of McDonald's around the country are turning their arches upside down in recognition of Women's Day. So I kind of surveyed the valley this morning, but apparently they didn't get the memo.
Okay.
Here in Wenatchee, because you still have the golden arches standing up a regular way.
You've never been to McDonald's, have you?
Never? Don't tell my wife.
It's 21 minutes after the hour. We still have sports to get to, as a matter of fact. Don't go anywhere and all the other stuff you're used to. We don't have a Mike McNaughty opinion again today. It's a technical story. You don't need to know about that. And you and I are going to be busy today. We're going to be talking to Todd Fryover.
Yeah, the president of the Washington State Alpha Commission, because it's expected today that the Trump administration will be imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum exports. It might be good for companies like Alcoa, but what's it going to do to the tree fruit industry? Because a lot of our sales are based on foreign markets, and will there be any retaliation? Well, we'll find out. Had a chance to talk with Kevin Moffitt yesterday with Pear Bureau Northwest, and they could be severely hurt if there's retaliation by, let's say, Mexico or Canada for pear exports, because that represents about 77% of their foreign sales.
We can't eat everything that they grow.
No, no.
They got to send it someplace. Oh, I remember what it was. Last day of the 60-day session is supposed to be today.
That's today as well.
And it looks like, I mean, there's just a flurry of activity, bills going back and forth and stuff like that.
But
what
we
do you
still
think?
have the supplemental budget to pass. They passed the supplemental construction budget, but they still have to pass the budget.
What's your newsman gut telling you? Are they going to be able to adjourn and be done with business by
I've given up
COB today?
handicapping the legislature at this point. They never get it done on time.
It doesn't seem that way, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. 22 minutes after the hour, overcast, about 33 degrees. Clouds in the highs in the upper 40s today, and then lots of sunshine beginning tomorrow and lasting pretty much all the way through till at least Tuesday of next week with very mild temperatures. Looking for, oh yeah, a golf course beckons, baby, I'm telling you. Sports, the Obscura holiday. Today in history, birthdays, and of course my interview with Paul Atwood and Devin Reed. We'll talk about the wedding singer. It's all coming up between now and 8 o'clock, live from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
"24 minutes after the hour on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's the 8th day of March, 2018. I am Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports. The Wenatchee Wild are celebrating their 10th anniversary this season. In their 9 previous years of existence, they've never lost a first-round playoff series ever, and you can now make it 10 years in a row as Wenatchee completes the sweep of Merritt last night in Game 4. A scoreless first period, and then the Centennials would strike first. In the second period, we had the highlights. Arch Ecker with the play-by-play, the video courtesy of Hockey TV.
Steered away by Park, back to the left point, shot, save, rebound, score! Chase Bell with a big spongy rebound. Zek at the midpoint, whips it over from Morton. Morton in, shoots, he scores! Power play goal for Sam Morton from the right circle. Back to the point, Sasaki sends it in. Back down low at the side, and then in front, shot, score! Matt Dorsey, as the puck was chiseled back behind the net, rolled out front. Dorsey right there on the doorstep, fires it home, and just like that, the Wild now lead it 2-1. For Morton, he hops into the zone, dished across for Weatherby, shoots and he scores! Jasper Weatherby. And the Wild now lead it 3-1. Sasaki sharply down the right wing boards. Souter in, shot, and he scores! Lucas Souter, short side, took the feed from Sasaki, walked off the boards into the right circle, and rips it home. Bell wins it, shot in, steered aside by Park. Usher presses it into the corner, and that's it. The Wenatchee Wild complete the series sweep.
Yeah, nicely done, Wild. Wenatchee moves on to the second round of the playoffs thanks to goals by Josh Arnold, Matt Dorsey, Jasper Weatherby, and Lucas Souter. Also, great night in goal for Austin Park. He stopped 32 of 33 shots. So the Wild advance, they will take on Vernon in round 2 of the playoffs. It will begin next weekend at the Cal Tire Place in Vernon. Both teams have to agree on a schedule that would fit each team's home ice before it can officially be set. But the best of 7 series would shift to the Town Toyota Center games 3, 4, and if necessary 5. Most likely the middle of the week beginning March 20th. We don't really know. As soon as we find out, we'll be sure to let you know. So yeah, elsewhere in the playoffs, the number 2 seeded Vipers swept their series with Salmon Arm in the first round. The number 1 seed Penticton swept Coquitlam. So the V's will take on Trail in their second round series after the Smoke Eaters swept West Kelowna. And if you missed game 2 of the series between Wenatchee and Merritt last Saturday, we'll have it for you tonight right here on the NCW Live channel. The puck will drop at 7. It is hockey night because it's Thursday. Game 3 of that series will be tomorrow night at 7, and Game 4 Saturday night at 7. We're throwing in some boys soccer, by the way, Saturday afternoon. Games from last spring between Wenatchee and Sunnyside. That begins at 2 o'clock. Check our website for a complete listing of sports broadcasts, ncwlife.com. Well, the Mariners welcomed a new outfielder who happened to be an old outfielder. The announcement of Ichiro's return to Seattle. General Manager Jerry Dipoto, and Ichiro, the 44-year-old, at a press conference in Peoria yesterday. Of course, Ichiro's long-time interpreter is going to help us out with the press conference. Here you go.
I probably don't need to spend too much time introducing the man to my left, but I will say one of the best players in the history, not just of the Seattle Mariners, but in baseball, the worldwide baseball. 4,358 hits, which I think is a phenomenal number, more than any other player who's ever played anywhere. The only member of the 2,000 hit club in Japan and the 3,000 hit club in MLB, an MVP, a Rookie of the Year, and we are thrilled to welcome back home Ichiro Suzuki.
2012年の7月に
July of 2012, I said goodbye to Seattle, and of course I went to New York and Miami. But even in the off season, when I would go back to Japan, I always came back to Seattle. This was my home. You know, I think everybody hears that I want to play until I'm 50, but I want to make sure everybody understands that I always say at least 50. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
Ichiro's in pretty good shape. He never stops working out. He may see action today. Speaking of action, yesterday on the field, to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. Seattle booted the ball around a bunch against Oakland. They committed 4 errors. They lost to the Athletics 7-3. David Phelps had a bad outing on the mound in the 6th inning for Seattle. He surrendered 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 home runs. At least Robinson Cano had a decent day. He went 2 for 3 with a solo home run. Seattle hosts San Francisco today, 5:40 in Peoria, Arizona. Welcome back, Ichiro. It's good to have you back. Bottom of the hour here on this Thursday edition of Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Let's move forward with the obscure holiday of the day today. As Steve mentioned, it is International Women's Appreciation Day, but I'm going to do something a little different. It's Popcorn Lovers Day to popcorn. Popcorn Lovers Day is always celebrated the second Thursday in March because we don't know why. Fun facts about popcorn. A quarter of all the popcorn produced in the United States comes from, surprisingly enough, Nebraska, the Cornhusker state. Popcorn, just plain popcorn with nothing else on it, is pretty good for you. It's got quite a bit of nutritional value. We destroy that, of course, by dumping salt and butter all over it, and pretty much offsets whatever health benefits you get from eating just plain popcorn. Unpopped popcorn should not be stored in the refrigerator. The refrigerator will dry out the moisture in the kernels. Without moisture, the popcorn simply doesn't pop. So the ideal place to store your popcorn is in a cool, dry cupboard. And while a lot of businesses failed during the Great Depression, especially food businesses, the popcorn industry thrived because popcorn was cheap. It sold for like a nickel a bag. And for a lot of people, it was the only thing they could possibly afford to eat during the Great Depression. So the popcorn industry took off and exploded, if you will, during the Great Depression, ironically enough. 30 minutes after the hour, today in history. It is March 8th, 2018. If the Vietnam War, if the United States involvement, if our country's involvement in the Vietnam War has an actual day, it would be today. It would be March 8th, 1965. We were there before that. We had advisors in South Vietnam, but 53 years ago today, 3,500 United States Marines landed and committed themselves as combat forces in Vietnam. That is the headline from the New York Times from March 8th, 1965. So if there is an actual, we're in it now with guns loaded and bombs dropping in Vietnam for the United States, it happened on this date 53 years ago today, March 8th, 1965. And the fight of the century. If you were alive then, you remember this. This was the biggest sporting event anybody could think of for years and years and years. 47 years ago today, Madison Square Garden, New York City, on a Monday night, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Smokin' Joe Frazier, took on the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. 15 rounds of heavyweight boxing. Frazier won, of course. It was a unanimous decision. The first time that two undefeated boxers fought each other for the heavyweight title. It was the biggest sporting event that year and for a number of years after that. Everybody talked about the fight of the century. The referee that night afterwards in his interview, he said it was the greatest boxing match he has ever seen. The fight of the century. Ali Frazier won. Took place on this date in New York City in 1971. And finally, we have birthdays for March 8th. Both of these gentlemen have nothing to do with each other, but they're two of my favorites. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. was born on this date in 1841, the 51st Associate Justice to the United States Supreme Court. He was wounded 4 times in the Civil War. 4 times in the Civil War. A couple of famous quotes from Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. Taxes are what we pay for a civilized society. And he was the first justice to really say the First Amendment has limits. The First Amendment is not an absolute right, and he used this analogy. You cannot protect a person for falsely shouting fire in a theater and causing a panic, and that person can't claim First Amendment free speech. Oliver Wendell Holmes, a legal giant born in this state in 1841, lived to the age of 93. Pretty impressive. And the skipper was born on this date. Alan Hale Jr., born in this state in 1921, passed away of cancer in 1990 at the age of 68, will always be associated as the skipper on Gilligan's Island. He was okay being typecast with that. Remember, the cast of Gilligan's Island, they didn't get very many residuals. They could have cashed in on their fame, but they didn't. They didn't sign the way, when they signed their contract, they didn't get all that money when all those reruns started to air in the 1970s and made Gilligan's Island popular all over again. They didn't get a dime. For Alan Hale Jr., he was fine with that. He was always associated as the skipper, one of my favorites, Alan Hale Jr., born in this state in 1921. All right, 34 minutes after the hour. I'm going to take a quick break. Once again, Mike McKnight's opinion not available today, but we'll have a whole bunch of new ones coming up for you next week. And starting on Monday, we'll have some more. Everyone is entitled to Mike McKnight's opinion. So we'll take a break. And when we come back, Paul Atwood, the director of The Wedding Singer, and Devin Reed, one of the cast members, in our studio. The Wedding Singer opens tonight at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. It's a visit you don't want to miss, and it's up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shaman here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
The relationship between the lifetime warranty and our service department is our service department's award-winning, and they keep people's cars running for longer. I've had customers where they were waiting for their car to die, and it just wouldn't die because our service department was able to keep it running.
For longtime customers that are going to maybe have a new driver in the family in the next 4 or 5 years, the lifetime warranty is powerful. You're always going to have protection.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Collins Fashions has a fabulous selection of clothing, handbags, jewelry, and shoes for all events in your life, such as work, errands, celebration, travels, etc., etc. And our professional caring staff will assist you in coordinating your wardrobe and choose a perfect gift for that special someone. Our many fabulous brands include Joseph Ribkoff, Tribal, Jag Jeans, Tommy Bahama, and we are your Brighton headquarters for North Central Washington. We are grateful for our wonderful customers, and we look forward to seeing you at Collins, where fun and fashion meet in downtown Wenatchee.
Every golfer aims to play their best, and smart golfers turn to the golfer's edge to get the golfer's edge. PGA professional Ed Payne has you covered from tee to green. You can work on your swing or play 18 in air-conditioned comfort on the golf simulator. Tanya's Corner has all the apparel the golfer needs at sale prices. And Ed can even rebuild your favorite set of clubs or custom make you a brand new set. Ask how you can qualify for a free 30-minute lesson at the Golfer's Edge on Mission between Kittitas and Yakima.
Why live your life in the dark? At Schmidt Electric, we're one of the oldest and most respected companies in the Pacific Northwest.
Founded by my father in 1960, we have grown from 2 employees to 130.
From small commercial businesses to heavy industrial companies, we employ some of the most respected contractors. We're also a proud member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers for over 50 years. Call us at Schmidt Electric today.
38 minutes after the hour on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. They are ready to go. Tonight is opening night, the Wenatchee High School Music Department's production of The Wedding Singer. And on this show was one of the cast members. To my immediate left is Paul Atwood. The director, Devin Reed, who's in the cast, is on my far left. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here.
It's opening night, Devin.
Oh. Do you have to remind me?
Are we ready?
Yeah, I think we are.
We're ready.
First things first, where's the check?
Check?
Oh, my email. Is
Oh,
a certified
where's
check
my
for-
popcorn?
Paul was complaining nonstop about the popcorn.
If the interview goes well, I'll make sure you get some popcorn.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll give you the check.
Okay, it's $150, and it needs to be made out to me personally.
All right.
Certified.
All right.
If you know mine. I cannot believe that you've never been on this show.
I have not been on this show yet.
I know. It's,
Thank you for inviting us.
For those of
This
you
is
who don't know,
awesome.
Paul and his lovely wife Kelly has been in the Wenatchee Valley theater scene since you were in high school.
Yes.
And even
yeah.
before that. Paul Atwood 101.
Yeah.
Give folks a little bit about Paul.
Oh gosh.
This will be, by the way, our first 2-hour show.
So true. Well, I was born and raised here in Wenatchee, and I went to Washington State University and got a degree in humanities with a minor in theater. Mm-hmm. And I was born into an orchard family, so I knew that was something to fall back on for sure.
Right.
I'm 5th generation, so my great grandfather came out here in 1908.
Out in the Malaga area, right?
Yes,
But yeah.
out towards South Wenatchee, and so when I came back, I went to my mentors, Pam Cole and Dan
love
Jackson,
Pam.
Sue Lawson.
Wonderful people.
Very, very cool. And asked, can I do something? And they put me to work right away. And I started choreographing the musicals for them and stuff. And then, started doing the blocking and stuff. And then I knew that I would probably take over Pam Cole's job. She was kind of grooming me. And then I've been doing the district musicals and high school musicals since about 22 years now.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah.
So you started with...
How old am I?
I'm just going to ask that.
And you have a very powerful partner. Team. You and your wife are a great team.
Well, thank you very much. I could not do anything without her. She's just fantastic. We do make a great team. We started co-directing in college, and that's where, so we've been doing that for 30 years. Wow. So, yeah.
Devin Reed 101. Introduce yourself to our folks.
Senior, amazing senior.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a senior at Wenatchee High School. Been here all my life. I grew up here. My aunt pulled me into this whole thing. My aunt Lisa, she told me about how Paul's shows are super awesome, and I had seen these shows before. I saw Cats and Seussical beforehand, and I was kind of like, I was a fourth grader going into this going, what am I doing exactly? Like, am I okay to do this? Is like this gonna be okay? And I auditioned and I was like, okay, this is chill. I'm okay. We're relaxed. Go up to go check the cast list and I'm like, Mom, my name's not there. Like, we can go home now. And she's like, Devin, come back and look at the list. And I'm like, I'm serious, my name's not there. See my name on the list, I go rolling down the hill. I'm like, and then I think they sit there and think to themselves, what did I get myself into? Here I'm on my 10th show and now I'm like...
You got the bug.
Yeah. I kept doing these shows and I'm like, I still question it a lot. I go, Paul, why am I still doing these shows?
Well, and I have a feeling that she'll probably take over my job in a few years. She's really good, organized, and she makes sure everybody's there, and she's my left hand.
Yeah.
Talk me through the audition process. Were you auditioning for a certain role? What did you know about The Wedding Singer? Or
I had seen the movie prior. I had watched the movie, and I kind of was like, I loved the character Holly. Holly was just a fun, like, really bubbly character. But at the same time, I knew that I can pull off that motherly role. So the second I found out that I was Angie, I kind of had that instinct of like, okay, I see where they're going with this. I can play a motherly role. I think this will work.
Paul will cast me in the right role.
He'll do it. He'll find the right role for me. But no, I really, these auditions, they're not to put you under pressure. And Paul has taught me over the years not to be under pressure. It's just him and Kelly and then our choreographer usually. But mostly it's just, you're supposed to be relaxed, and half the time I can never stay relaxed enough. I'm like, it's just Paul. I sit there and tell myself that all the time, but it's like, it's just Paul. Why do I get so nervous? It's just a bald head.
Oh, thank you.
I think to myself, I'm like, it's staring back at me right now.
This is the high school music department's musical, as you mentioned.
This is the drama department.
They alternate every other year. This is the whole district, right?
No, we've started doing this. This is not with the music department at all.
Okay.
So next fall, I'll be doing the musical for the music department.
Okay.
And that goes entirely to that. This is the drama department.
Okay.
And we do like a cycle now. We'll do one comedy one year, and then we'll do a drama, and then we'll do a mini musical.
So I started my freshman year with a mini musical, and then we went through a comedy, then a drama, and now we're back to a mini musical.
And hopefully within their career span of their 4 year in high school, they'll experience one of those genres.
What's the difference between a musical and a mini musical?
I don't think there's much difference.
This one didn't turn out to be such a mini musical.
It's not mini. This could have been a fall show easily.
Yeah, well, it could have. It really could have.
Oh.
The thing was that after the district musical, Little Mermaid, I had so many people interested, so many high schoolers. And we have this great freshman class that came in, and I was like, because I was going to do something like You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, was like 5, 6, 7 cast members. And so there was such a big interest in doing it's like, well, we got to pick something bigger.
Oh yeah.
And this has always kind of been on the back of my mind.
I have a good friend, Brian Higgins, at the high school. He's a teacher up there, and this is one of his favorite musicals. So I knew that I could probably get the English department to back me in that way. And so it's just turned out to be a little bigger than normal, but it's a great, after last night's rehearsal, people are gonna enjoy this.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
They are really gonna enjoy this.
Why the wedding singer? I mean, was there this is the budget, Paul, that you have to work with?
The budget. I know. We have not as big a budget, of course, as the district musicals.
Right. But talk me through the decision of doing the wedding singer.
Well, this was kind of a tough decision, because at first I thought, oh, we'll do Grease, and it's a popular show. A little too popular nowadays, because to get the rights to put on these shows, it takes a long time for certain shows. This one you have to have almost a half a year in advance. And I decided after Little Mermaid that I was going to do a bigger musical. So I tried to get the rights to Grease, and they turned me down.
What?
Yeah, they turned me down. So
Grease apparently is not the word.
No, not the word. Not this year. Maybe in a year or so.
Yeah.
But so then I went with Plan B, and this was Plan B. And I love the movie.
Best Plan B.
Oh, the movie is
the
movie is so great. Now, like I said in the previous interview that we had, it's not the same music from the movie.
Right.
But it's the same genre, and
the same story.
It sounds totally like 80s music.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot of fun.
Oh gosh, it's so much fun.
We're going to show, after we take a commercial break, in fact, what we're going to do is we'll take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, we're going to show some footage of you guys during rehearsal. We'll talk about the rehearsal process and all that good stuff. Opening night is tonight. The wedding singer comes to the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more with Paul and Devin. We'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Too Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
It turns out, some people are more likely to do well at charter college and succeed in a new career. So, what's this charter type? Charter types are go-getters. Charter types follow through. Charter types love a challenge. If you're a hard worker looking for a fast path to a better career, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Is this really what we're gonna do on our girls' night out? We should go to Club Crow. The bar and grill in Kashmir? Yeah, let's go.
Looking for a fun-filled, friendly hometown atmosphere? Club Crow Bar and Grill in Kashmir is the place to be. Hi, this is Justin. Here at Club Crow, we have full bar and restaurant, live music, a dance floor, pool tables, pull tabs, and live jam sessions the first Sunday of every month. Club Crow in Kashmir, the coolest place in town.
Papa Murphy's presents a fresh take on unbaked. Who wants an unbaked pizza? You do. Because unbaked means unprocessed dough and unfrozen vegetables, all prepared fresh by us. So the difference between a pizza fresh from your oven and one pulled from a greasy delivery box? Unreal. The smell? Unbelievable. Leftovers? Unlikely. Home bake a large Papa's all meat with Canadian bacon, salami, pepperoni, Italian sausage, and ground beef. Just $12. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
And we're back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host, alongside Paul Atwood and Devin Reed. The wedding singer opens tonight at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. We're going to roll some footage of some of the rehearsals that was going on. Last night you had your full-on dress rehearsal, so you're ready to go. It went fine?
It went pretty good.
It went pretty smoothly, which was surprising.
You don't want it to be perfect. You don't want to be perfect, you know. So we had to stop a couple times to make sure we were in sync in the band and stuff. And but I'm I'm pretty confident
I'm
that
excited.
it's going to go pretty good today.
I was surprised last night. I know it takes a long time. It was going to be a long process, no matter what was going to happen. And I was thinking about it, and I went, "This is going to be a good show." I mean, there's like little nicks and things that we have to deal with, but it was smooth all the way through. And we just had to stop like maybe once or twice, but overall it was really just smooth. And oh my goodness, dancing is weird to watch myself dance.
Who's your choreographer?
The choreographer is Trisha Miller.
Okay, good, good.
So we're bringing some more youth into this program.
I like it.
I'm not going to be here forever.
There's your son playing the guitar.
Oh, there he is. Yes, Mr. Stud.
I'm sure Mason will be excited to know he has a new nickname. Mason plays the lead. He is the title character. He is the wedding singer.
Yes.
And he had never played guitar until just a few months ago, or maybe about a month ago, right? Maybe before that, slightly?
He really couldn't until like the 14th, 15th of February, because he had a sledding accident and broke his arm.
Oh, no.
So, which for a director, you're like, oh my gosh, are you going to be healed in time? So he really had to pick it up.
For those who don't know, what exactly give us the plot synopsis of The Wedding Singer for people who don't know the story, Paul.
Well, it's about this gal, and she is a waitress, and at wedding receptions and stuff, and bar mitzvahs and whatnot, and she fell in love with this guy that is kind of a schmuck. He's
just a little bit of Alex plays the good schmuck. Yes, he does.
When you pick up from there.
But no, so it's mostly about these three guys who are part of the band, and you meet Julia, who falls in love with Robbie, but is engaged to Glenn Gulia, of all the last names in the world, Gulia.
And her name is Julia.
Julia. So Julia Gulia, but overall it's about just the story of how their love became to be and how Mason takes on the character of Robbie and how he just interprets overall how.
And he got dumped at the altar.
Oh yeah, by Linda.
By Linda.
Oh, Linda's a sassy character.
Oh gosh.
You're gonna have Linda's a fun character.
So it's essentially the plot of the movie.
Yes,
oh yeah.
Okay. It's exactly the plot of the movie.
But there are big music numbers in it.
Did you once you had the show cast, did you ask your cast members, especially those who are going to spend the most amount of time on stage, to watch the movie?
I watched the movie the day after. The day after. I thought it was just an easy, just watch it, like get the idea, and like even if you like don't find your character, like my character is not in there very much, but I just got off ideas and like just the way that my character should be reacting overall to the story. And I mean, her persona's changed like 3 times throughout this entire process, but it's all good. And I mean, I think it takes a lot of time. You have to really do your research afterwards, and you really have to put that time in and be able to work around the different ideas of the characters, and that's what's super important. Character development is so important.
I make them do their research. I said, go and watch some 80s shows, or Pretty in Pink,
Oh,
Ferris
yeah.
Bueller's Day Off. I mean,
Ferris
some
Bueller's.
Of these classic shows that I grew up with, and of course, I mean, the music is a big
music's fun.
Big thing, and they've had a lot of fun, and our costumers have had a lot of fun trying to recreate the 80s look, and the hair, and I especially have to give a big shout out to some of these parents.
Oh yeah.
That help out. One of them, who I'm gonna lose, because usually after their child is a senior and go off, then they say, "That's it, Paul. Find another one that you can."
Unpacking myself.
Jill Sheets has been amazing lady to work with.
Yeah.
And her daughter Eloise plays Julia, and she, I'm gonna miss her a lot. But there's some other.
You've got some good parents taking over. We've got Beth and Michelle taking over.
Yeah.
But they're doing really well, which is awesome.
But this program would not be the way it is without these amazing parents that help out.
And all the backstage people. The musicians and the set decorators and the costumers.
And everything is run by, our stage manager and
it's
lighting
all students.
and sound and stuff are all run by students.
Is this something you're a senior? Where are you going to go to school, or what are you going to do after this?
I'm attending Central Washington University in the fall.
Okay.
Going into hopefully psychology and majoring into education as well. and becoming a student guidance counselor.
Oh, cool.
But I'm still going to continue doing shows. I'll come back.
Of course.
I always got to come back. It's the sickness. You got to come back. We always see some sort of seniors come back, and we had a couple friends show up the other weekend, and I was like, am I going to do the same thing? Am I going to come back like after I'm in college ready to go? But no, you always got to come back. It's always
Just like me. Came back.
You got to come back.
Well, and our music director is Stephanie Wilson, who was one of my former students.
Yeah.
And so it's a great place. I'm so happy that I live in an area that supports the arts.
Incredibly so.
Oh yeah.
Incredibly so.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It really is.
It's
it really
impressive.
Is.
There's a lot of talent out
We're
there.
pretty special here.
Yeah.
And people that move here and stuff, they just can't believe the stuff that we put on. You know, and then of course they start coming to the shows and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
and the
there's these
support.
we have a couple new people coming into the show this year. Like they've never done shows at all, and one of them's a senior, and she goes, like, what is this? Like, I've never done this before. Like, this is so weird. And how many like traditions that we have that we do, and all the different. I was like, we have pajama day on tech days, and she's like, what, pajama day? And I'm like, it's a thing. And she's like, this is so cool. Like, she's like, I'm kind of sad I didn't do it to begin with, but I'm
Katrina
glad.
Russ.
That's Katrina.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
She's
came
from
in.
South
That's a
Dakota.
great story because it lays the foundation of your entire being, Paul, is that people are out there on stage. That takes guts, it takes courage, it takes a little bit of chutzpah, but they grow as human beings, don't
Yes,
they?
they
From the
really
very
do.
beginning of this process to closing night in a couple of weeks.
They really do.
New people.
Yeah. I'm very proud.
It took me 10 shows to grow, so I mean, it took me 10 different productions to grow. Overall, I know it's a fun process.
It is. I mean, I just love watching that development, and because when they first come in as freshmen, they're just like, and then they just grow.
Well, and some of them come in earlier. Like we have kids like from 4th grade. I started doing these shows when I was in 4th grade, and continuing these shows on
The
is
district musicals are amazing,
Yeah, and I mean, Little Mermaid and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang that my niece Carly was in.
Yes,
She's
Carly's doing amazing at Gonzaga.
Yeah, she's at Gonzaga. She sends her love, by the way,
Oh,
Paul.
great.
Is there
Carly.
a certain pressure because you guys have done great, not just the all-district musicals, but the drama ones and the one. You guys have done some tremendously good shows. Is there pressure, Paul, to keep that momentum
that
going?
tradition,
Oh,
that
yeah.
pressure. Yeah, there's a
But it's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing.
it's
It keeps
good.
me running. It keeps me.
What's Paul's directorial style when you guys are working?
His style is very it's very truthful. It's the fact that he brings the truth into the fact that like our characters are so important, and how like when your entrances and your exits and the way you come on is so important, and it affects your entire scene, and how you have to know exactly, you have to be thinking. He always tells us to think. And when we
Actors
come
are
in,
thinkers.
we have to think. And it's just, we have all these key phrases. The many key phrases of Paul Atwood are so insane. He'll go, stay healthy, or louder, faster, funny. There's so many phrases I could go on and on about. And he'll have us sit there and say them over and over again. And I think it's just ingrained in my brain that how important those key phrases are so important to being in shows. Like you have to be able to be loud enough and be funnier and fast with all your lines. You have to be able to portray your character as how it should be seen, and it's so important.
And you're telling this wonderful story, so the audience has to hear this story that's being portrayed.
And Paul does an amazing job, and I am so glad.
And Kelly, of course.
Oh yes, no.
Kelly's the fixer-upper.
Kelly does the fixer. It's a writing process.
She comes and goes, okay, let's mold it a little.
It is a writing process. Paul comes through with the rough draft. Kelly does a little bit of revising, but then later does a lot of editing, and then we finally have this final product. But overall, it's just their teamwork is phenomenal. I don't get a lot of time to work with Kelly, but when those moments I get to work with Kelly, I take it all in, and I just love hearing it from a woman's perspective and being able to see both sides of their ideas. Like Paul had this idea of my character for a little while, and then Kelly goes, oh no, scratch that. You need to look at this side of the character. Realize that, and it's so important to see that there's two sides to your character. You can take your character either way. So I had to really just think about it.
And Devin's the one that has the best Jersey accent.
I have to pull the Jersey accent. I had to do all my research for the Jersey accent. I did a lot. I had to watch a lot of videos because the Jersey accent. I turned Southern. It's really weird. I turned Southern instead of Jersey. So my mom sits there and goes, "No, Devin, you're going Southern. You're not Jersey. You gotta be Jersey."
We got about 30 seconds left. What time does the curtain part tonight?
7:30.
7:30.
I'm so excited.
7:30 Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Two shows
Saturday.
There's a matinee on Saturday at 2
And then
o'clock.
you're going to do it again next weekend.
And we get to do it again next weekend. And you get the tickets at the pack,
Right.
or you can get them at the door.
I can't wait to see it.
There's 8 shows.
And we've condensed the theater a little bit too.
Okay.
So it's like a seats about
A little
200,
more intimate.
250. Yeah, it's more
Okay.
intimate,
I
and we
like
add
that.
things, and
Yeah,
you're gonna be
good.
right there with them.
Good.
We can't spoil too much. We don't want to spoil too much. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens, but we can't spoil too
Devin,
much.
thanks for joining. Break a leg tonight.
Thank you.
Paul, one word for you, buddy. Decaf. All right. Everybody have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.